Welcome back, everyone, to our special new recurring segment, the Mocamoment. We're catching up with the team at Mocaverse on a monthly basis, giving the breadth and depth of this special growing ecosystem. Mocaverse is the Animoca Brands membership NFT collection of 8,888 unique beings, the Mocas. They're building the world's largest Web3 identity pass in culture and entertainment, empowering personal growth, partner project growth, and the growth of adoption of Web3 in general. And for full disclosure, our parent company, Edge of Company, lies within the Mocha ecosystem, and this regular segment is sponsored as part of a media partnership. Today, we'll focus on some exciting updates around Mocaverse with our special guest, Tyler Durden, who leads Mocaverse and is also head of projects at Animoca Brands. And, for those of you that have caught this segment before, you'll actually notice a very special difference here, which is that there's not a PFP that I'm talking to. What's going on, Tyler?
Hey, thanks for having me. As always, is a pleasure. No, it's
Yeah.
just yeah, I just want to it's either now or later or anytime, right? But people, if people want to dig up my profile, it's actually not that hard. I've been basically having fun with my avatar, and basically there will be some magazines that will be coming out anyway, and my face would be docked. So regardless, I've been meeting a lot of the community members all over the world in the US and Europe and Asia. So like my face is docked anyway. It's just no pictures.
Yeah, it's hard to be fully private when you're a world traveler and like meeting with all these community members and telling the story about what's going on in Mocaverse. So I guess it had to happen at some point, and honored that you chose to do it with us.
Yeah, my pleasure as well. The doc show.
The doc show, here it is, the edge of docs. So look, man, Mocaverse has been gaining quite a bit of attention, and there's this upcoming Japan week. I'm jealous about. I wish I could be there with you. Kicking off in Tokyo, and Mocaverse has some really fun things planned. Can you give us a sneak peek?
Yeah, so we would be the platinum sponsor of the WebX event. It's one of the biggest Web3 events in Japan, with the Prime Minister going and a lot of the major kind of Web2 companies and Web3 companies as well. They're going. So Daniel from Yuga Labs is going to WebX as well. And we just find we have been contemplating between kind of doing that in Kyoto for that event, or the WebX event in Tokyo. We just believe like there's a lot more people that would be interested in Tokyo, and people basically being the central hub in Japan as well. We have been having a lot of relationships in Japan and Tokyo, with a lot of the IP companies, and with through Animoca Japan, with having a lot of the access to the Japanese IP companies. So there would be like a bunch of people coming. Actually, I would say there are some big names, not only in Web3 but also Web2.
Yeah, I saw the lineup. It's smoking, and should be a really cool event. It's definitely some speakers we've had in our mix, and some folks that I would be excited to see IRL. But let's talk a little bit more about Japanese IP, because it really holds a special place in I would say global culture. And I think it's really interesting that you're really doubling down on Animoca Brands' relationship with Japanese IP. Could you talk a little bit more about what makes this IP so special?
Well, maybe we can talk about back in the days when Animoca is basically working with Dapper Labs, for example, and then CryptoKitties days, right? Like that's probably like the first version of Web3 IP. But then, like in the past history of Animoca Brands as well, we actually worked with Hello Kitty and other IPs as well back then. So IP has been like the driving force as well in terms of driving interest and community. And there's like a really loyal fan base as well that has emotional attachment to the IPs. I just talked about this in the previous Twitter Spaces, but basically there's for example, you have an IP that you actually grow up with, right? So that sense of emotional attachment, sense of belonging, we just very bullish about bringing on that Web3 unique element of community co-creation and digital asset ownership to the Web2 IPs. And actually the Web2 IPs, they're super curious, right? So for example, people who are coming to our WebX events are, for example, like Honda, Mitsui, Mitsubishi, Sega, Kodansha. Like there's just a bunch of huge Web2 IPs and Web2 names and enterprises that are Web3 curious, right? So we've been having ongoing collaboration, partnership, and discussion about what we can do together. We play not just a role of basically like a project operator or like advisory partner, right? But then also at the same time, we feel like we have the role as Animoca Brands to be educating the Web2 IP space about what is the potential of this space with the Web2 giants actually coming in.
Yeah, I enjoyed the 2 weeks I spent in Japan with my girlfriend, and she's constantly trying to plot a way for us to get back there. And what just struck me is the amount of pride and authenticity in the culture and how that translates to these brands that are so memorable, right? I think that Sega commercial will be like, broiled into my mind for the rest of my life. And Honda has such a quality stamp on it, universally. So I think that translates to the potential of this IP when it comes to giving it sort of that stamp of quality and longevity that comes with traditional Japanese IP and sort of how they perceive culture. So I think that's a really interesting choice you've made. And of course, you've also built this physical and digital experience into your rollout at this event. I hear there's going to be a cool booth, a side event, maybe some sort of gamification activation. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so we would be sponsoring the booth together with Venom Galaxies and DeFi, our portfolio and subsidiary companies. So there's some level of gamification activation around the booth as well, leading you to the side event. And then we have basically like a prize pool actually allocated for people engaging with the games, and they're having that kind of like the digital experience and the move to earn experience, almost like a Pokemon Go kind of type games with DeFi. So with that activation, we just find it interesting that people can actually explore the city and also like to enjoy kind of like the Animoca ecosystem kind of experience as well. So yeah, so that would last for about a week, and then bringing people to the side event, and then the side event basically would be as I said, like the names I just talked about, and those are the Web2 brands, but then like Web3 companies such as like Polygon, Artifact, Nouns, Sandbox, and Only Force, right? The CEO of Only Force, Henry, will also come to speak with us through a fireside chat and attending the event. So we're very happy to basically like bring along everyone and introducing people to one another. That actually we feel like that's our role to actually drive that collaboration, partnership, and introducing people as well.
Yeah, those are great communities. Obviously, the Nouns have done so much with IP, including I think the Rose Bowl parade in Pasadena, and Henry from Oni Force was on our show recently, and what they're doing from an IP perspective is really, really cool. And by the way, on the scavenger hunt thing that you have planned, highly recommend you include the purple sweet potatoes that you can get at the convenience stores. Those things are absolutely amazing, and everyone should at least try one in their life. I don't know if you've had them before.
No, but all the Japanese agriculture products are basically amazing, right? So it's basically my fruit trip, basically, right? They have really amazing fruits out there, and my favorite is actually close to the peach season as well. So very looking forward to it.
Nice, nice.
It costs a lot in Hong Kong for one Japanese peach. It costs about $10 US. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah, there could be some arbitrage opportunities there, though. I don't know how those will store well in your suitcase when you make your way back. But anyways, you're also looking at this as sort of the kickoff for a broader IRL event strategy with more to unfold. I know we did something at Outer Edge LA, and I think I forget where we did that event together. It's been so long, and we've been to so many cities. I think it was in Austin. But this is sort of you guys going bigger. What does the future of your IRL strategy look like from here?
So there's no particular strategy, but I would say whenever kind of Animoca Brands and Mocaverse are going to conferences, we tend to host events there because we have communities all over the world. Let's say like in Austin, in LA, and then in Japan, going forward in Korea and then Singapore. There's just like I just went to London as well and met with the Mocha fam. So wherever we go, we just hope to maximize our chance to meet with the community. So Evan, the president of Animoca Brands, actually he went to Korea for a few days, and then he basically asked me, "Hey, like I want to meet up with some local fam as well. Can you actually link us up?" And so basically, you went there, had like Korean barbecue with 8 to 9 holders, and then basically they all printed their Mocaverse T-shirt. It's just an amazing thing to see, right? Like you have a loving community, super supportive, and truly love the brand and the community itself.
That's pretty awesome. I'm definitely up for some Korean barbecue. If I see you over in Korea Blockchain Week, let's definitely do that as well. You can see that food is on my mind pretty much all the time, Tyler.
Yeah,
So
same for me.
so let's talk about this partnership, particularly with the Japanese IP, in a little bit more detail. I know you're going pretty classic here. Can you give us a sneak peek at the specifics behind this Japanese IP collab?
Well, it's not just one Japanese IP, I would say. Like we have been having like ongoing conversation with different major IPs. What the last thing we want to do is to do something exactly the same as what every other one is doing. Of course, it's also like a process to, as I said, to educate and then to also kind of reinvent the way how we think about licensing as well, right? What kind of value can actually Web2 IP brands bring to Web3 and vice versa? So how we're actually thinking about Web2 IPs and the Web3 community element of it is how we can actually empower the Web3 community to basically leverage the Web2 IP to grow and maximize the influence of the creation. So this is definitely an experiment, and we've been having ongoing conversation. I don't want to say too much in terms of right now before anything set in stone. But yeah, what I can leak or what I can say is really we have been basically having ongoing IP relationship, really good relationship thanks to Animoca Japan.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think IP development is definitely something that needs to marinate, right? Like, we do a lot of these projects in Web3 really fast, but when I've been to like the licensing show for IP in Las Vegas, they're usually looking at like a 2-year rollout plan for projects, and it really just goes to one, sort of how sacredly they hold the IP that they have, and two, you want to be thoughtful about it. There's no need to rush the process, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So excited to sort of learn more about that and unpack it more in the future on the show, and see what unfolds there. But you did sort of allude to something I thought was interesting. Maybe we could just touch on briefly, is sort of this idea of IP decentralization and giving it back to the community. This is a really interesting concept for brands. It's something that we talked with Hennessy about on the show, where they gave the community the chance to create a bottle that they then they'll get shipped this bottle of cognac, specifically in something they designed. Is that sort of what you're thinking about in terms of the power to the people, or what does it really entail for you in terms of this idea of IP decentralization?
Yeah, so I mean, like so much respect for Pudgy Penguins, right? Like creating IP from 0 to 1 basically in Web3 and bringing it back to Web2, and then growing that influence and reach, right? And building a new revenue stream for Web3 IP. So much respect for that. But how we're thinking about the IP as well, and having that intersection with the Web3 community element is basically how you can, as I said, like empower the community to create out of the existing IP. So the example that you just bring up is very interesting because it hits a few points, right? Like one point that it hits is basically a Web2 IP actually allowing their kind of like community to create out of their IP, create something out of their IP. And second is that they actually productize that creation into a real life product. And then 3 is that like basically the community get rewarded based on that, right? Because they actually give out the bottles to them. So I think like those 3 points largely is very similar in terms of how we think about it. We're just thinking about like how we can scale this, right? So and again, like is all these conversation is very experimental. There are many ways as well that how we think about IP as well. If you think about, I'm not sure if it happens in your country in the US, but in Hong Kong, like for example, we got something called an octopus card. And the octopus card is basically that your transportation card that you use with the NFC chip to travel anywhere, right? So there from time to time, there are like different IP campaigns that there's like a customized octopus card and anything, right? Basically, every person only need 1 octopus card. You don't need 2, but people would just buy like 2, 3, 4 of them. And the reason being because they love the IP. So if you put that analogy in the Web3 world, how would that IP power can help you drive user attention and user acquisition and building a community from people basically interested in the IP. So I think there are many ways to think about Web2 IPs and bring it to Web3. And what we just talked about with the Hennessy case study is probably just one of them.
Yeah. Well, excited to see where all this goes, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with us before what will be a busy few weeks for you in Japan. We'll be with you in spirit. And where can folks go to keep tabs on all of this Mocaverse mayhem?
Well, follow our Twitter account, Mocaverse NFT, join our Discord, and go to our website. We've been updating our website all the time with different activations and announcements coming up. So mocaverse.xyz, and the best channel is Twitter.
There you go. Well, thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you over in Asia in September. Until then, we'll have another one of these Mocha Moments next month. Thanks so much, Tyler.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
See ya.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.